VGC is supported by Patreon. Check out patreon.com/videogameschronicle for more podcasts, ad-free browsing, and extra content. Thank you for your support. I made my mind up back in Chelsea. When I go, I'm going like Elsie. It's VGC, the video game podcast, with me, Jordan Midler, Chris Scullion, and Pete Donaldson. This week, it's the last week before Switch 2 and SGF, but first, how's it going? Pete Diggory Donaldson, how are you, son?
I'm good. Lovely bit of Liza Minnelli cabaret at the start of that. Very good indeed. Referencing death.
Yep. Referencing the inevitability that all of us will one day end up like Elsie. It was my dear friend Hannah's 30th last weekend, and I was out doing karaoke. And cabaret is one of my stock numbers.
Right. Okay.
But it's performed. I don't know if you've seen the modern production of cabaret at the Kit Kat Club. It's much more kind of Art Nouveau, and it's less it's less kind of jazz hands and how you doing. It's all about I'm gonna have sex with you.
Yes. it's like an anchor of sex.
It's a lot of sex, a lot of Nazism, a lot of fascism, and Sally Bowles is having a breakdown during that song. So I did it as Sally. I was very drunk. I did it as Sally Bowles mid breakdown, just screaming into the mic. It was a wonderful time. So shout out Supercube in Glasgow. Speaking of a Supercube, Chris Scullion's here. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
Yeah.
I've received new glasses. You
didn't buy them, you just received them?
I just received them. Unfortunately, I did buy them. I'm still undecided on them. For those just listening, they're completely clear, which is a bit odd. I did also go for a secondary pair, which I'm now unsheathing. That's not, again, for those listening, that's not me unzipping my slacks. They're more like my usual ones, but they've got a cheeky wee bit of tartan on the.
Lovely! The new Newcastle United shirt's got a wee bit of a cheeky bit of tartan on it. A wee bit of plaid. I'm also still kind of recovering from the knock my ego took at Pete's Football Ramble show. Which I believe we haven't told on the podcast yet. But I thought it was only fair that I should tell it, given that it was me who took the shiner for it. Pete was part of the Lovely Football Ramble podcast, the live tour that was going around the UK, and it was a splendid time was had by all, with quite an ending, which I'm not sure we can spoil. But there is no way I'm lugging that papier-mâché head of Richard Keys to another venue. There was reasons why I couldn't fly back from Glasgow, and that was because I was carrying a massive papier-mâché head. So it is now something that scares my daughter and sits next to my still saw on my workbench.
It was glorious. What an ending. But yeah, as we were standing waiting to meet Pete after it, myself and Jordan were just kind of lingering at the back of the venue, and someone came past and said, "Are you Jordan Midler?" To Jordan, obviously, not me. And I was like, I just stood back, let them have their moment. Oh yeah, how's it going? Oh, I love the podcast. I'm like, I'm in here. So talking away about, John's like, what did you think of the show? Yeah, it was good, blah, blah, blah. And you don't want to step in and go, Chris Scullion, nice to meet you. Like, you just go, wait till, because he wasn't looking anyway. He was occasionally glimpsing at me, and I'm like, he'll say something eventually. And I'm like, and as the conversation went on, I was like, I'm not getting brought into this conversation here. Either the guy's stunned to his boots that a veteran is here as well, and he's more comfortable speaking to the rookie, or that maybe he knows Jordan from his BBC work or something else, and maybe it's totally unrelated. Yeah. And right at the end, as he walked away, he says, "I'll look forward to more energy drink reviews." And John's like, yeah. I'm like, wait a fucking minute. And the guy just breezed right past me without a glimpse. I'm like, oh, well, if that's the case.
That's when I came out at the end in my pants and a massive Richard Keys head. I swear somebody from the crowd shouted, "Is that guy who's been on the VGC podcast 3 times?"
You came out with a Richard Keys head on, and weren't the stupidest looking person in the room. I was actually,
man.
Yeah,
that was the highlight of my show in my opinion. I mean, I couldn't quite believe it. Shout out to that fine listener. If that was an intentional absolute doing of Chris Scullion, you have my eternal respect. if you were stunned into silence by his presence, I can understand that.
He's probably listening now, going, "Was that Chris Scully?" And he looks infinitely better in real life. I thought it was. I thought it was
Claudia Schiffer.
I was going to say Brad Pitt. Then I realised that'd be mental. I was trying to dial it down a bit. I thought that was Bruno Brooks.
Yeah, Bruno Mars, more like. Yes, it was a wonderful old time. How was it treading the boards again, Pete? It's been a while since you did the tours.
It was good. I mean, like as I said, it was. We played a few different venues, and the finale was very much me rolling around on stage, like rolling over tables and stuff. Yep. And I came back with quite a lot of bruises. And I think I mentioned it on every podcast recently. I did ask a literal professional wrestler how they don't have bruises on their bodies all the time, and it turns out they just fall properly. They just turns out doing it a lot and learning something is quite important. Mastering something is quite important, isn't it? So it turns out. And also, like, apparently, like, wrestlers, after a while, the body just stops bothering with the bruising. Yeah. Like, imagine your body just giving up and going, "Fuck this, fuck this."
It's like Marge Simpson jagging herself with the needle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's always like I feel like recently when there's been stories of wrestlers passing away, it's always like they feel something horrible happened to them, but they can't distinguish it from the 30, 40 years of random shit happening to them, and then the next day they wake up dead, to quote Scary Movie. So yeah, that'll be you. Chris, a week today we'll be sitting next to each other on a flight to Los Angeles, California.
Lovely.
How you feeling? The hype is growing for Target and Dave's Hot Chicken.
The hype has grown. It's one of those ones that's tempered. Like for me, I'm very excited because, as I've mentioned a few times already, this is the first of these US summer shows I've got to actually go to, despite having been doing this while. But it's tempered by the fact that it's switched to launch day, and it's looking increasingly less likely we're going to have one in our hands by the time we step onto the plane. To the point that we occasionally we'll come up with some harebrained scheme to go, wait a minute, what Smith's is doing a midnight launch. Why don't we fucking hang outside Smith's and hope that one of the three in stock they're going to have have my name on it? And then you go, oh wait a minute, isn't there an electronics shop in the airport? Am I going to be able to buy one and charge it up and somehow use the airport's Wi-Fi to download Mario Kart? I'm basically just resigned myself to the fact now that unless one of the people I've pre-ordered it from balls us up and sends it a day early by mistake, I'm just kind of resigning myself to the fact that it's a Theatre than Picross combination on the plane instead of Mario Kart World.
The thing is, like, obviously it would have been perfect to have it, but I'm also looking forward to getting back from SGF, having like a bit of not really a break, I suppose, but like a bit of time where it's not crazy to just like enjoy it. Because I feel like the weekend would be weird if we all had our Switches sitting in the hotel, like while we're doing other stuff. Like
that's the thing. At least if we don't have it, we know we're not under pressure to deliver on content with it. Like if we have a pretty good excuse to not be putting Switch content on the site. And by the time we get back, a lot of the stuff will be kind of old news. So it will feel nice to, for once, have a console close enough to launch that you can play the big launch game, and not feel pressured to be churning content out on it.
Guides and stuff. Are you a little bit upset that on the list of logos, the list of companies that are going to be attending Summer Games Fest, Nintendo is one of them? I mean, of course it had to be. I mean, it just has to be. They're literally launching a system on that day.
I literally think that there will be a 1-minute ad during Jeff's show that says the Nintendo Switch 2 is out now. See you later, and that's it. That's all they need to do to qualify.
All the British journalists in the audience just go boo.
It could be under everybody's seat. You never know. You do sort of think, like, how many big system launches have we got left? There's like, was it 3 a decade? And then and they're getting thin on the ground, aren't they? They're going to be going into, we're just going to release everything on Steam Deck or something. It's just upsetting.
And the last time we didn't even get a proper one because it was PS5 and Xbox Series were during the pandemic, so the launch was absolutely shite. It just, I suppose we're in a different situation where, I don't know if I've said this publicly, but the time has expired on this. A man in a truck that is used to transport money between cash points, like one of those, delivered my PS5 because they were so intense about it. On the other side, I signed my NDA for the Series X on the Wednesday, and then my Series X arrived on Thursday night because they overnighted it from Washington, and it just arrived in a normal box. I was like, what is this? It was an Xbox.
Boy, what a special boy.
I got my Series X when I was freelancing. Like when I was doing Tidal Hack, and like I bought one because I bought one and then got offered one. I'm like, yeah, all right. So I gave it to my dad.
Well, that's how I did the same, because when the PS, obviously you remember when the PS5 came out, they were like hen's teeth. However, on PS5 launch day, I had 4 of them in my house. I had the one Sony sent me and my 3 pre-orders that all worked. So I just put it in my group chat. I was like, right, who's needing one? And I sold them all at cost when I could have made an absolute
good boy.
Round of applause for Jordan. Come on.
Yeah, I might depend on.
I only sold them at cost because they were my pals. If my pals didn't want them, they were going right up, boy. Let me tell you.
Yeah, depending on how my pre-orders turn up, there might be 1 or 2 going at cost to other people. But yeah, we'll see.
Before we proceed, any drinks? Did you have any of those Mankinu Iron Brews, Chris?
I do, and I still haven't tried them. They've been stewing in the fridge all week.
Excellent. Stewing on the radiator.
So for those not aware, Iron Brew, the greatest drink in the world, has now got 2 legend editions, which by all accounts were only on sale for 6 to 8 weeks, I believe. So we've got Unicorn Tears flavour. The unicorn, of course, being the national animal of Scotland. And Nessie Nectar flavour, which sounds a bit semen-y.
Nessie Nectar sounds like an actress from Blue films from the 1980s. Oh, your dad's got a new Nessie Nectar DVD.
Whereas Unicorn Tears sounds like an artistic French porno. So I'll attempt
Eric Cantona.
I'll attempt the Unicorn Tears first. The gimmick with these, as ever, is that you're supposed to guess the flavour because it just says sparkling, low-calorie, flavoured soft drink.
Right. I don't trust the good people at bar to do anything other than Iron Brew, personally.
Especially since it changed hands. It's got fucked since it changed hands. Chris Scullion is ingesting the Unicorn Tears. What are you getting notes of, Chris Scullion?
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Well,
so there's that. I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's rhubarb and custard.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's 100% rhubarb and custard. Right. I will now attempt for science to try Nessie Nectar flavour. And hopefully it's better than Unicorn Tears because I shan't be finishing that can.
God, I want some rhubarb and custard pop now. That's really upset me.
Surprisingly.
I like the wee rhubarb and custard sweets that you would get, the wee Morrison's Own. What's this, a Tutti Frutti situation?
That's a kind of...
Beans. Bad beans.
It's just 100% aubergine.
Capel.
That's a kind of mangoey pineapple one. That's a good one.
Okay.
That's almost certainly been mixed with bars pineapple-ade. I would imagine. So for my recommendation is go for the Nessie Nectar, give the Unicorn Tears a wide berth.
The Nessie Nectar is for the Mango Loco generation of
correct.
So yeah, right.
Yeah.
Pete, I sent you a photo that there's Bigga Juice in my local local petrol station. They have the red, like an orange one and a purple one, and it's the petrol station I only go to before football. And I always think, if I down a Bigga Juice and play 8-a-side, how much is that going to affect my performance, and in which direction is it going to affect my perforance? Because
I think it'll be like the kind of it'll turn you into like a Jamaican footballer from the 90s. You know what I mean? Lot of skill, but really tailing off after 60 minutes.
Got a tab on by the end of it. Just like,
is that the country of origin for Bigga Juice? Is that Nigeria?
I believe so. Yeah,
Jamaican.
Jamaican.
At least it evokes Jamaica. It's probably produced in Slough or something like that. But it's certainly
the original recipes from.
Let's get into some news, but first, thank you to our Patreon subscribers. Patreon.com/VideoGamesChronicle. You can become a season ticket holder just like Serkin Toto, Shay Dougal, Matt Huggins, Martimus Prime, Ryan Cabane, official VGC historian Sam Biggs, Ginger Jotun, BN12, and Mark Edmonds. Story number 1. Everyone has a Switch 2 apart from Chris Scullion. The console is now in people's illegal hands as it's arrived at shops across the globe, but it doesn't quite work yet. There's been a lot, Chris, of videos of people unboxing the thing, starting up. They don't have any games. It doesn't work with Switch 1 games yet, so they're just looking at a blank screen. Does this make you long for it? Because seeing that, I was like, Oh, I'm starting to get a wee bit fimbly bimbly here.
I was already like on tenterhooks waiting for it. The startup videos, I couldn't be less whelmed about them because it's like it's the same startup as you get in every console. It's like choose a language, and this Russian guy going picks a language and then goes, oh, that's it. Basically, the Russian equivalent of that's it. So that's not really massively exciting, but the fact that so far there are still only 2 themes. Has me rattling. I'm really angry.
One per launch game.
Exactly.
That's all you're getting against.
But yeah, so it looks like. But it's weird because I opened Switch Online app on the Switch the other day, and one of the breaking news things is like, oh wow, Dark Theme is available, and I can't remember if Dark Theme was exclusive to the Switch Online.
Oh no, there's still 2 themes.
It's always been light and dark.
I only paid for Switch Online for like a month, and I've had both of them forever.
So find it odd that seems to have been mentioned again, as if there are more to come. Maybe this day one update, this fabled day one launch
get yourself
update
in this accessibility section and just make the font bigger or something. I've made me on theme.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I'm obviously hoping for a wealth of themes on day one, including Famicom Detective Club, Ice Climbers, Clue Land, and Mac Rider.
They're going to let you do what they did. Remember with the PSP, you could just change the color of like the cross media bar into all different. That's all they would need to do for me, because I used to get a lot of time out of just randomly changing the color of the background.
Realistically, if there was a green theme, I'd be sorted. Day one.
I liked someone showing the video of when you turn it on for the first time and like the red Switch 2 thing comes up and then it makes all the logos do their noise. I was like, oh, that's worth the 500 quid. That's worth price admission.
I keep seeing people saying that online as if that's some logical argument. Somebody was saying, Switch 2 now lets you upload screenshots to the Switch app. It's also, oh well, finally I know where my 500 quid's going, as if that's the only thing it does. It's piss off.
That's all you get.
I don't know. That's negativity. What can I say?
Pete Donaldson, where's your stoner meter for the Switch 2? Because you're a Steam Deck man. Is there any interest in getting a Switch 2 at all?
To be honest, I bought a Switch back in the day, did a bit of Ring Fit Adventures, and then switched right to the smaller one, which it's just more pocketable. I wasn't really into the detachable. So once the Switch 2, I think I'll keep my powder dry for a Switch 2 smaller version, which no doubt they'll come up with, because none of the experience necessarily. I'm not necessarily going to be a Civilization 5 guy, and even then, I could probably presumably get an external little mouse to play with it anyway. So I think I'll keep powder dry on that one.
Yeah, it's a weird launch for me. I'm excited, but I think of all see if you'd swapped Donkey Kong and Mario Kart around, I think I'd be slightly more excited, because Donkey Kong is more my style of game. Like I don't get tons and tons out of like a racing game. But I'm excited to have a new thing. I like having new things. It was the same way when this fucking stupid PS5 Pro turned up. Like there was no real new thing to it, but opening it and go, oh, new thing. It smells like new plastic. That's like fun enough for me. Chris, can you remember off the top of your head what the launch GameCube games are? It's like F-Zero. Is it?
Oh, you mean on Switch 2? I thought you meant.
Not generally. Yeah,
it's F-Zero GX. It is Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and it is Soul Calibur 2.
Oh, right, okay. I'm excited for that.
Potentially Mario Smash Football, because they were showing that.
Yeah.
If that's not day one, that'll be the fourth one at some point.
The bloody charlatans at Nintendo and the Pokemon Company haven't said when those two are coming out, so I'm excited for those. I'll play Wind Waker. I've not played that since the Wii U, and I've bought the stupid GameCube controller, so I might as well play through the GameCube.
I don't know why I bought that. It's the only one that like has like all the buttons on the standard. I've ordered the Pro controller as well. I'm like, realistically, I'm just going to use the Pro controller for the GameCube games. So why did I do that? Like,
there was a real. It was a halcyon time of things were going up for pre-order, and we're just going, just get it, because we don't know what was going to happen. But yeah, it's Chris Scullion's Switch 2 Stiffy out of 10. Where is it now?
7.
7?
Yeah, it's listen, I'm very much up for it. It's only dampened by the fact I won't have it on day one.
Someone on that fucking plane's going to have one, let me tell you.
I know, and as soon as they do, they'll be getting an elbow in the jaw. But no, I'm looking forward to, like, it's weird because there's so many launch games, and so many that I probably won't be getting on day one because there's just too many. I'm looking forward to 4 months from now finally picking up Cyberpunk or Street Fighter going on a sale, because Capcom's got their strategy that always works now of dropping the price in their games after 9 months or something. So when Street Fighter's like 20 quid, I'll leap on that, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm excited. Mario Kart's going to do me until Donkey Kong, basically. So I'll be and Welcome Tour, which I'll
playing.
It's weird because even if I did manage to get a Switch 2 for the plane, which I probably won't, you would get Welcome Tour, but I wouldn't play it because you need the kind of the 120 hertz telly and all that shit to play that. So I don't know. I'm excited.
We mentioned it earlier, Smiths are doing midnight launches. Pete, when you were a hot young radio man, did you ever get deployed down to Oxford Street to stand with the sweaties and go, the video games are bigger than ever. GTA 5 is going to be a big launch.
They make millions and millions of pounds every year, more than the cinema. Yeah, all that junk.
Did you know that Mario is bigger than Mickey Mouse?
It's such crap, isn't it? I remember one morning I did the XFM Breakfast Show, Alex Zane and Mark Haynes and me, and I sat in the sort of cafe area of, I don't know why I was outside the studio, I didn't need to be, but I was outside the studio. I'd basically gone to Rockstar and said, can you send me a copy of Grand Theft Auto 4, please, and we'll talk about it on air. And it was such a long, protracted sort of situation where they just weren't going to send us one, and they sent us one, PS3 version of Grand Theft Auto 4, and I basically did the or maybe Grand Theft Auto 3, I can't remember. Either way, I did the weather from Liberty City. I basically did weather reports every half an hour, completely unpaid. We didn't get paid for it. I just did it off my own back, and the sales floor at XFM got a little bit annoyed about that because they got literally 3 or 4 hours of free advertising, and all we got was it was a free copy of a game that I couldn't use because I was an Xbox man. Rubbish, absolute crap. And then me and Alex went down to Hamleys to get a copy ourselves. So complete waste of time, very indulgent. Don't know why I did it.
my midnight launch story, and my only one, is also from GTA, because for the majority of my game playing time I had a dodgy wee shop, so I was getting stuff a couple of days early. But before this, for GTA 4, my aunt worked in, the Asda at Govan, Chris, the one across from the Scum Dome. We were there. They were doing not really doing a midnight launch, but because it was a 24-hour shop, they were like, we will sell you at 1 minute past midnight. Yeah. And they had 40 copies and 150 people turned up for it. And at about 9 o'clock, me and my dad turned up, and we went to see my aunt, and we were prepared to wait, and she just goes, oh, you've got school in the morning? Just gives me my copy hours before it's meant to be out. So I just walk out with my copy. The proviso being, oh, you shouldn't be staying up late because you're only 13. You should be going to school tomorrow. I stayed up until about 5 in the fucking morning playing that, bunked off school, just absolutely rinsed GTA 4. So that's my main one. Surely, Chris, you are sent down fucking constantly for every dodgy Nintendo launch.
Yep, we covered the Wii launch at Oxford Street, which was queue round the block. Covered the 3DS launch at Oxford Street, queue round the block. Wii U launch, not so much. To be fair, the Wii U launch was still quite big, but I think that was everyone in the UK who bought a Wii.
Yeah,
was in that queue. All 40 of them. But it was always fun to cover these things. It's weird because obviously at that time we had all the consoles in advance. Especially when you were on the official Nintendo magazine, Nintendo sent us the consoles a week or two in advance so we could prep all the kind of guides and stuff. So it is odd going to a midnight launch for something that you've already been playing for weeks, and the kind of that kind of new toy thing has died down a bit. But seeing everyone else excited for it kind of lifts you back up again, which is quite cool. But yeah, I shan't be going to the Smiths one in Edinburgh. I'm not fighting half of Edinburgh to pick up a Switch 2 when I've got 1 or 2 pre-ordered. If
it was any other day, I would have forced you to come at the Paisley one with me, and we would have done a video about it. But it's just not to be. For the PS4, I have told this story, but I got it. It came out on a Friday, and I got mine on the Wednesday because my guy at Game Centre, God rest the shop, he's still alive, texts me saying, "Do you want yours now?" and he put it in 2 bin bags and handed it me out the side door of the shop. And I just that was unbelievable. That was, and I basically just said to my mum, I was like, I'm not going to school for the next 2 days. It's not happening. She was like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. I'm not having this argument with you. It's November. You can do what you want. Oh God. Story number 2, quick one before the break. Pokemon Legends ZA has a release date. It's coming October 16th. Switch 1 and Switch 2 version. Switch 2 version's a tenner more. The Switch 2 version will have higher resolution and sharper graphics, as well as an improved frame rate. On top of this, they announced a Pokemon Presents for July 22nd, which, Chris, pretty unprecedented. 2 months notice for a Pokemon Presents. That's a little bit weird. What's that all about?
It's weird, especially because I would get it if it was during Summer Game Fest or something. If it was like during the, but it's weird that they're saying in July. Like I can't think of any particular reason why that would be.
That's it's also like 3 weeks before the World Championships, so it's not tied to that. Like it's just
it's an odd one.
Maybe this is just maybe they come out a week before and they go, this is just a deep dive into ZA. This is like the big marketing one for ZA. We're not going to have news about the next generation. We're not going to have all this kind of stuff.
I wonder if they're maybe just anticipating people saying, what? Why is that all you're doing is giving us the date? Why are you not giving us more of the game?
Yeah.
And they just said, look, this is the date we're giving you more on the game, like it or lump it, as they say. So I think we're just going to have to wait and see. I'm assuming we won't hear anything more about ZA until then.
No, probably not. Where do you think that puts Metroid then, Chris? September or November?
November.
November, yeah.
Yep. 100%.
100%. Can you clip that, please?
Take that to the bank.
Yeah.
It's like a big lock to hold up. That's my lock of the week.
In fact, I'll tell you, let me look at my calendar. I'll tell you the exact date. It'll be November when did it come out? Fridays?
Fridays, yeah.
Fridays. Yeah, right, Fridays.
No, let's go with Thursday. It's November the 13th is when it's coming out.
November the 13th.
Remember.
We'll put that in the title of the show. November 13th, release date.
Confirmed.
Announced for Pokemon Legends ZA. I mean, I think with do you think, Jordan, as a big fan of this series, this one's a bit more of a risk than usual? Because I realised that they're a merchandising company, and so they don't really care about their video games. But this, I mean, they were hauled over like some pretty public kind of janky stuff last time round, and for a company that makes more money than God, like and the city looks, I'm going to say, a little bit lifeless, a lifeless Paris, so to speak.
Much like Paris.
Much like Paris.
To be fair, the only thing that would make Paris better would be having no French people in it. The thing is that when this game was announced, that was already the thing that people went for, and I've come to terms with the fact that it's just not a priority for Game Freak to make their games look great. It's just not going to be a priority. They've washed their hands of the whole affair. At least with Legends Arceus, there was they had allusions to a kind of brush painted art style, at least in some of the UI and stuff like that. This seems more straight down the line. Honestly, this feels like a tech test bed for Generation 10, the next one, which I think will look a lot better, but it's just, I think it's quite tired. I can understand why people get annoyed by it, but I don't think you can moan the Pokemon Company into doing basically anything. Like, they are a monolith. They tell Nintendo what to do rather than the other way around. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Switch 2 version. The trailers for the Switch 2 version look nice enough. And there's always, there will be the unfortunate social media screenshots of a wall texture that looks like it's from a PS1.
Or something,
I don't care. It's nice.
You've got a day and night cycle, for crying out loud. You can do some furtive Pokemonery midnight.
As long as it's furtive. As long as it's furtive.
The night that Legends Arceus came in, I stayed up playing that game till 4 a.m. The next day, I messaged Chris and said, what do you think about it? And he was like, I stayed up all fucking night playing it. The Legends games are brilliant. I'm so looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to, because I suppose I'll obviously get the Switch 2 version, but I'll need to install it on original to see what the deal is. I'm worried that will be a total catastrophe, and the Switch 2 version will be actually okay. Chris, as an Arceus head, you're looking forward to this one?
Yeah, I'm more cautiously optimistic. Because it looks, like you're saying, it looks so different from Arceus that I'm like, okay, let's wait and see. I'm obviously happy it's coming on Switch 2, because even before they announced it, we were saying this will be on Switch 2. Surely to God, this will be on Switch 2. And sure enough. to the extent that I'm surprised they're even bothering to release it on Switch, but I suppose
100 million people, bro.
Loads of people who could buy it on Switch. Then fair enough, but all the true Pokemon fans will be getting it on Switch too, I would imagine.
All the Pokemaniacs.
Yeah, exactly.
See if they announce a fucking Legends EA Switch 2 and I need to buy a second one when like 3 months of buying the first one. I mean, I'll do it because I'm a class A mug, but yeah, it's an interesting time that the more I think about it, I think that July Direct will be, not Direct, Presents will be very specifically about ZA, and they'll come out beforehand and be like, you'll get your normal one in fucking February for the anniversary when we'll talk about everything, but this is just a marketing obligation at this point. Exciting times. It's not in the news, but there was some chat about another Direct landing around the time of Switch launch. Do you think that'll maybe firm up some dates, Chris?
I thought it was. I'm wondering if the fact Nintendo's a partner for Summer Game Fest this time, because for those who don't know, the last 2 years, Nintendo and Konami, for whatever, haven't been part of Summer Game Fest. Konami, because they don't have any.
Poor Konami, they've got Metal Gear.
They've got Metal Gear, they've got Silent Hill, they've got 400 Silent Hill games. But like Nintendo were a no-show last year and the year before. Instead, they did their own directs later in June. So I wonder if the direct this year is going to be a wee bit earlier and they'll tie it in with Summer Game Fest. Or, like you say, it'll just be a couple of trailers and then the direct will come later in the month. That's TBC. But I would imagine we'll get one in June anyway. It's just a case of when. Especially because we only know some of the Switch. We only really know Donkey Kong, Metroid, and Pokemon, and
Kirby,
Dragon Drive, and then Kirby looks like it's next year, or is that this year?
That's this year. We've done this on that. We've done this on this podcast.
I know we have. This year. But I tell you what, I didn't tell you the date for Kirby, which true. I believe will be December 4th, December 4th. December 4th, nailed on. December the 4th.
I'm gonna end up texting Pete in an hour going, mate, I'm so sorry, but we've actually just announced all the release dates, so can we just do that again? After the break, we'll be chatting about EA's latest foibles and get a vibe check for our trip to the US. We'll see you after this. That's 32:03. And we are back. Pete Donaldson, as someone that has a little pal running about the house, have you found any time for Steam Decking, or is it just a time to sit silently and enjoy the peace of the underworld?
To be honest, I mean, post-tour, I did take my Steam Deck with me on tour, and as usually happens, I put my bag in the kind of like the shelf on the train, go all the way up to Glasgow, and because it's up on the because the trains are so bloody full, I cannot access my own stuff, and I just end up playing Balatro on my phone again. I'm so sorry, it's happened again, mother. It's just 5 hours of Balatro.
What an amazing game! I started playing it on PS5 because they put it on PlayStation Plus, and it's like,
what's it like on a big screen? Like
worse. I don't like it. It's worse. It's ideal on a Steam Deck or a Switch. Second rank is iPhone, and big telly is the worst, because when you're looking at it at a Steam Deck or a Switch, you can see the whole playing field. I'm sitting next to a telly that's way too big, so when that's blowing up to that, it doesn't work for me. That game is. It's absolutely incredible. So
I've still managed to avoid it, but I note that Cookie Clicker is now available on Switch, so I'm very desperately trying to avoid that, because can't have that on the plane. that way madness lies. It was probably, I think it was LA. I did a whole LA jaunt. It was just Balatro on the phone, and it was it flew in. Another good one, Another good janky one was Football Manager on the Steam Deck. It doesn't work perfectly because obviously that's that's a keyboard and mouse heavy game, but it works enough where all you need to do is when you hit up the search bar, it'll bring up like the keyboard, and that's how you enter players' names and stuff like that. So when I do my usual of signing Reo Hatate for every single team I ever play as, that worked pretty well, but it made the Steam Deck bloody hot. I know we're talking a lot about the Switch 2, but the Switch 2 battery life, Chris? There's been a lot of chat about how it's actually kind of pish. How are you feeling on it? Because I feel like Mario Kart full brightness, is that a 2-hour job? Like how long am I playing that for? It sounds like it might be. No, but at the same time, battery life doesn't worry me too much because we live in a time now with extra battery packs and with public transport, like long haul transport that have got like plugs and stuff. It's not like the bad old days where you put 78 AA batteries into a Game Gear and got 20 minutes out of it. Like if the battery life is low enough on the Switch 2 that you're talking a couple of hours, you would imagine that's still enough for most people's public transport journeys on a day-to-day basis, and it only really becomes an issue on long haul, in which case then you need to use your plug.
Pack some uranium.
I think it'll be okay. Obviously, the more battery life, the better, but I also feel that sometimes it's something that people moan about more than actually inconveniences them.
Nintendo greatest soldier.
Isn't Steam Deck as well? Steam Deck battery shite by all accounts, but it does the job. It's enough to get the job done.
People are sort of complaining about the Switch because obviously that Russian bloke who was just showing us what the back end, like the settings menu is and stuff. People are getting their panties in a bunch about the free space available on like a box fresh Switch 2, and people are going, oh, actually, what you're looking at there is not gigabits, not gigabytes, Gibby bytes. What the fuck is a Gibby byte? Like, what is a? I've never heard of a Gibby byte. I'm on nodding terms with games and tech and stuff, but what is a Gibby byte?
Miyamoto invented it.
Jeez, it's like, I think it's like, instead of like 1024 bits or whatever, it's 1000. It's a flat 1000. But apparently that's what they're talking about when they write GB. I don't know. I've read it 5 times. Still don't know what they're talking about, but Gibby byte is a new one on me. I'm not having it.
Oh, I'm looking it up now. This seems to be different to what I was taught in computer class at high school. I was taught back in 1943. I was taught back in the day that a megabyte was 1024 bytes, and a gigabyte was 1024 megabytes. And now it would appear, according to Simple English Wikipedia, the Wikipedia of choice, that a gigabyte is now 1024 megabytes.
It's just why do we need this further thing?
A gigabyte is now a gigabyte is a billion. So they've swapped over. A megabyte is now 1,000 bytes.
Right. And that was never the case.
That was definitely never the case.
1024, wasn't it?
Listen, somebody heads need to roll for this.
Thanks, Starmer.
I didn't spend days and days making a boot disk to get 300 kilobytes of conventional memory. What was I living in then? To run Moonstone on the PC? What was I doing there?
Apparently, terabytes have now been renamed the Gulf of Terabyte. Which seems like
I'm going to be out on the streets of Rotherham wanting to take the country back, take the gigabytes back. Pete, as a long haul veteran, what are your travel hacks? Because I am jealous of you you're quite a slender man, so I feel like you don't have much room issues. Whereas I'm built like fucking Jeff Capes' dad, so sitting next to anything, God rest him, Andy's dad presumably. Sitting in any plane seat for too long is a recipe for deep vein thrombosis.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much I used to be a legal grey market diazepam on
baby.
Not to glorify illegal drugs, but that basically means that every day I get phoned by 3 different Indian people who are trying to sell me more diazepam, and it has been happening for the last 10 years. 10 years, every day I get a spam call from an illegal pharmacy. It's incredible that they've still got me, in their system, because I haven't done that in a long time. So that was very much my style. But now it's very much no alcohol, and no alcohol. Pretend that I'm not going to eat the food on the flight. Eat the food on the flight. Have about 4 sittings in a day, and just feel really bloated by the end of it. But just never hit the booze anymore, because it just kills you by the time you get to the other side.
The bloke next to me on the way to LA for Liza P got a halal meal, and it looked fucking way better than mine. And I was like 2 minutes away from being like, is the move next time to ask for a halal meal? Because
get yourself on the website and pre-order like a halal or kosher meal, and it's always just a bit better done. It's just not the normal stuff. So that's not a bad hack as well. Because
they're not firing out 250 million of them every day. But I have like it's not a short connection, but it's like from when I land into Heathrow to when we leave for LA, I've got like an hour and a half. So I'll be WH Smith hundreds of cans, some sweeties, and then get on the plane and have a massive sugar crash somewhere over Canada. But yeah. Story number 4. Oh no, story number 3. I completely skipped this. Story number 3, folks. Electronic Arts has cancelled its Black Panther game and closed down the studio that is working on it. That's according to IGN. Cliffhanger Games, more specifically, was shut down after being formed to create this Black Panther game as part of a swath of EA layoffs, which is numbered between 300 and 400 staff across all of its different developers, including the likes of Respawn Entertainment. EA has said that it's going to focus on Battlefield, The Sims, Skate, and Apex Legends going forward. Chris Scullion, this seems like bad news for that Iron Man game that's in development, even though they said it's still going ahead. Respawn's third Jedi game is fine. I know for a fact they're quite far along with it, and those games do well. That'll get out the door, but it feels like EA's licensed era is well and truly over at the minute.
It's weird. Like I imagine Iron Man's probably a stronger sell than Black Panther, so maybe Iron Man might just cling on. Incidentally, I can neither confirm nor deny whether Jeff Capes' dad died. There's a bit of research there. He speaks about him in an interview before his death. He speaks about him in past tense, so let's just assume so. Right. But yeah, it's not a great situation, and it's frustrating, especially because EA, although EA FC didn't initially do as well as expected, like this year, a bad year for EA FC is still over $1 billion in revenue. Yeah. I mean, it's still like crazy. So it's unfortunate that it doesn't seem like the actions of a company that should be struggling. Like
if EA can't ship games, I mean, nobody can. And they're all Monolith, weren't they? That company, they're all
ex-Monolith. Something about
no one live forever, ever get any respect.
Something about the lineage of Shadow of Mordor. You work on Shadow of Mordor, everyone loves it, but you're cursed for 1,000 years to never make another game.
I mean, there's every chance that based on internal testing or whatever, it was looking shit.
Yeah.
And that's maybe the reason, because the statement suggests something about they're only focusing on the franchises that they know will make money back or something like that. So maybe it just wasn't looking that good, and they decided to cut their losses. But there's no way of knowing that. It's just that I don't know. It's never good to see. Hopefully, a lot of them that apparently they're going to attempt to move them on to different projects, so they say. So hopefully the job losses there are minimal. Nobody likes to see that, but at the same time, it wasn't the game it's my least favourite Marvel movie. It's the only one I couldn't watch to the end. I couldn't get into it at all.
Black Panther?
Yeah. I just think the trailer had loads of action, but the action didn't seem to come for ages in the movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to try it again one day, but
Marvel, all that Marvel shite's the same to me. Pete, Battlefield, yes. The Sims, yes. Apex Legends, yes. Big games. They're focusing on Skate. This feels like a strange choice to me.
Manna from heaven for one Jordan, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Although it makes me like terrified to my bones what that game's going to actually be, if this is like holding the company up by the bootstraps.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, I think everyone was upset on the Reddit about Donkey Kong Bonanza getting ESRB rated for in-game purchases. I think like, what's coming on here? You imagine Skate will be absolutely dripping with EAFC style add-on. So if they're putting a lot of their eggs in that basket, you imagine there'll be a few more eggs to buy when you get there.
Yeah, £50.
Another baker's dozen.
£50 per wheel. I need to sit down with the team that are making that Skate game and really talk. I've
have a word with them.
Since this project has been in development, I've spoken to the PR person responsible for that game maybe 25 times, and every time I've done it, I've said, as soon as they are ready to talk, they need to come into this Thunderdome and get an actual grilling for someone who was there during the Skate era. So we'll see.
How often do you sort of speak to PRs, John? Because I mean, I imagine, because you've been working in this field for quite a long time, and you, Chris, too, obviously. Mm-hmm. Is it just constant texts between like talking to PRs about their products, or just general, having little jokes and stuff? It must be quite busy.
I try to speak to PR people as infrequently as possible. And it's a courtesy I extend the other way because they don't want to be talking to journalists. They want to live their life. This person in particular is a good pal of mine who covers like a lot of different games, and I was pals with him like long before he did PR and long before he was doing skate. So as soon as he got the skate thing, I was like, right, you bastard, you're my access point to making sure this thing goes well. But this is someone who is blamed me in text for shutting down studios and reviews. So it's a tested friendship. But Chris, people ask me this a lot. Do you find this a lot as well? So much more of this job than I expected is answering fucking emails. It's just emails all the way down every single day.
Yeah, if I take a day off, then my inbox is just flooded when I come back because like you get so many every day, and it's a shame because like 95% of it is stuff we can't do, which is why I kind of tried to do my first play thing, which is coming back quite soon. I've got a couple of games lined up for that this weekend, where it's like to try and get more of these games because there just aren't enough hours in the day, and a lot of them stuff that looks quite cool, but I'm like we don't have time for this because we're a 3-man operation. Like we can only do so much.
And one of us is in Japan all the time, so we're really
exactly. One of us
he's not in Japan right now, by the way. He's busy in the UK. So I mean,
just tell us when he's in. Just tell us when he's not in Japan.
He started digging a tunnel to Japan. But no, it's you're right. I tend to talk to PRs as little as I need to, and they're probably the same way. They probably because you there's one or two like you say that you're good friends with, and you kind of just say how you doing like every now and then. But for the most part, it's like as a new game is nearing release, that's when you kind of engage each other and say, right, what's the plan for this? When can we have code ready? Blah blah blah. What are the embargoes, etc. And then for the most part, it's like you'll meet them at events and stuff, and that's when you kind of socialize and say how you doing and stuff like that. Because people get quite nervous when you say that you socialize with the PRs, but everyone's in this kind of industry together, and you need to build these relationships. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean they're paying us to do them favors or anything like that. But like
it's just giving them your phone number so
exactly.
You can get it's just messaging out. You know, if you've got something to fucking talk about,
it's just nice to be nice to people, and the good ones, the good PRs and the good journalists are the ones who know that each other are just doing their jobs, and that doesn't interfere. So you could happily go out on a night out with a PR, then give their next game like a 2 out of 5,
for example,
and then be best pals with them. Well, not best pals with them, but like interact with them the next day and say how you doing.
It's just business, brother.
It's just business. The only one I knew quite a lot of PRs, and they have all left. They've all left the situation. Sean from Everkid is the only one I know. He did actually chuck over. They've got a new alpha Everkid, those barcade things that you were talking about on the show. They've got a new Tato one out, and that's and they're going to announce that today when the show hits. So you can play things like Pirate Pete, The Legends of Cage, and Liquid Kids. Do you remember the Liquid Kids? I've got your Liquid Kids, Alan.
I've got at least 5 punchlines to that, none of which can be used.
It's 48 minutes into a show. Anyone with taste and decency is gone at this point.
Japanese arcade games, man. Silly.
I do like Taito though. I've got the old Taito Milestones collection on Switch.
Of course, it's Taito, isn't it? Yeah.
Taito.
God, what's wrong with me? I've been saying Taito like the Irish crisp. Idiot. There you go.
Very briefly, Street Fighter film's coming up. Apparently, Roman Reigns is going to be in it. Boys, I need you to tell me who is going to be. My suggestion is Blanca. Paint him green. Chris, who you want him to be?
I'm concerned because nobody looks like Roman Reigns except for modern day Ryu, and I wonder if they're going to do a Rodney Anoa'i and make Roman Reigns look Japanese, which they did with Yokozuna, which could be concerning. That's my prediction and fear.
Well, Dal Sim's got he's got a spear on him, hasn't he? One of his moves is probably quite speary, isn't he? So maybe it's him. But I mean, we'll only see him for 5 minutes of the film if he's doing like he does on the wrestling.
He is no great actor.
Is he not? So I've not seen him in anything. I did have hope in my heart for him because he's incredibly handsome and buff, and he's got everything going for him. But did you watch Hobbs and Shaw?
I saw his Hobbs and Shaw clip, and he had all the magnetism that modern day Rock currently has. So
that said, everyone knows that when you win a match with Akuma in Street Fighter Alpha 3, he says suffering succotash. So he might well.
He says ooh ah. Yeah, we'll see. I hope that comes out. That'll be a pile of old wank. Reader questions.
I'm up for it. Let the record state I'm up for it. Can't be any worse than the other one.
No.
It can't be any worse than the other one.
They'll go back and make another game of the next film that they did the first time.
Bring Kylie back.
A movie game, yeah.
Kylie's still kicking the ball. She's still doing all these like summertime shows. She could still do something.
Kylie wasn't one of the producers in the most corky like 90s story possible. Wasn't one of the producers on a transatlantic flight, not playing Balatro, but he's got fingering a magazine, so to speak. And
careful.
And Kylie was on one of the pages, and he literally went, "Who's that? Let's put her in the film."
Yes.
And then that's how she found her way into the film as Cammy, wasn't she?
What a life that would have been, man.
Street Fighter has one of the most stirring speeches in movie history, and everyone thinks it's for me it was Tuesday line, but it's when Van Damme's been told, as Guile, of course, the all-American hero, Jean-Claude Van Damme, is told to tell the troops to go home, and he goes, "Well, I'm not going home. I'm going to get in my boat, and I'm going to sail up that river and kick that son of a bitch Bison's ass so hard that the next Bison wannabe is going to feel it." And then he goes, "Now, who's going home? And who wants to come with me?" And everyone goes, "Ah!" And you're like,
a young Castillion's going,
I'm pounding my chest so hard I can still feel the palpitations. What an amazing film. The Legend of Chun-Li was a car crash. So this
was the Legend of Chun-Li your woman for Smallville, as far as I remember. Not the
Kristen
one that went.
Crook.
Not the one that went on to be in a sex cult. The other one
also starred Taboo from the Black Eyed Peas as Vega. But that's the one.
Maniac Taboo.
That's the one that's got the flashback scene absolutely out of nowhere, where they reveal that Bison became evil by killing his pregnant wife and ripping the fetus out.
Jesus!
Yes.
And I'm like, what game was that in?
Did you not see the start?
I know, when down, right underneath the camera, it's just gore.
Jesus Christ!
But yeah, that's why nobody talks about that film. So it'll be better than that.
The cesarean.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
it'll be better than that.
Ryan Cobain asks, favourite curry? Mine is a chicken chasney, but I like to get them to chicken tikka. Beautiful. So a chicken tikka chasney, no slime, okay? Chicken, and damn, it's good. I love a chicken tikka chasney. That is also my answer, Chris.
What's the chasney? I don't dabble.
It's like it's like a red kind of sauce. It's like a spicy-ish, tomato-ish sauce that goes over the chicken tikka.
If that gets spilt on your sofa, that's not coming out.
When
you see something so red in Indian cuisine, you go, "I'm not going near that. That's going to get everywhere."
Well, let me tell you, I'm not allowed to eat it in Laura's house for good reason, because I eat it like a fucking hungry dog.
I go lamb vindaloo, but if they're an outlet that is known to include potatoes, I'll downgrade to a lamb madras. I don't like potatoes in my curry.
Yeah, can't drink water, can't eat potatoes. The man's a fucking joke.
Absolute waste of time. Potatoes. He's just sort of going, this could have been meat. This could have been a big chunk
it's
of lamb.
Artificial thickener.
Yeah, rubbish.
Pete, what do you fire through you?
King prawn danzak. Usually nothing too aggressive. Though I have recently discovered that I can absolutely hose down the hottest version of Nando's. So maybe I'm, as an older man, being able to deal with the slightly hotter curry. So I want a curry now.
Deadened taste buds.
Yeah.
I'd like to parlay this into a plug to genuinely one of my favourite podcasts ever, the Luke and Pete Show. You had a long running saga about how expensive fish is in England, and I don't understand this, and I need to bring Chris Scullion into this. They were getting emails for people going, a fish supper over here is like £30. And I don't understand that, because a fish supper in Scotland, where we have fish all over, we're absolutely full of fish.
Yeah.
It's like, at the most, you're paying a tenner or 12 quid or something like that.
It's got more expensive. Certainly not. I remember when I lived in Wimbledon, Adams at South Wimbledon Station fish bar was quite pricey, but certainly not nowhere near that expensive.
Yeah, the Fishalicious, which is my local one,
owned by Beyonce.
Actually, there's a gaming PR connection to that one, because I knew a lass who runs a PR company, and they never have the best brands. Let's say they never have the best brands. But she did send me for some fishing game some fish shoes,
nice.
Some fish shaped kind of like the shape of. It looks like you put your foot in a fish. I went to Fishalicious wearing them. Forgot I was wearing them. I looked like a fish. Pervert. Like, give me fish.
Jumped in the fryer.
Oh man, have you ever seen that viral video of that idiot throwing a brush, a sweeping brush, into a fryer at McDonald's.
Yes.
He basically runs. He runs into he grabs a broom. He does a slightly dodgy voice that I'm not going to do here, but he's going, broom, broom, broom. And he picks up the broom and jams it in the deep fat fryer. And people are going insane at him. And it's good stuff. And I always just think about the broom getting deep fried and go, oh God, I bet that was a pain. I bet they had policies and, rigmarole they had to go through to sanitize that hot oil machine.
That's amazing.
A hell of a lot of training after the...
Don't let the broom man in. Crying out loud.
God, I hate Discord. It's such a bad app. Next question we have: what's the most annoying thing about your job? Can't say Andy. The audience can't. No, the most annoying thing about the job is people being confidently wrong when you are literally an expert in your field. That's the genuine answer. Me and Tam put up an Elden Ring Night Rain video the other day, and there's a comment saying, "This is the perspective of two From Software noobs," and it's like, mate, I don't like pulling this out because I really don't, but I am better at games than you, and I've played more games than you.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what game you're talking about. You could be talking about the most obscure, power washing simulator, Eastern European, train station redesigning fucking game, and somebody has got a very strong opinion about you're not very good at this game, or you're a noob to this game, and you're just getting paid by the developers. It's just insane.
I remind you of my top spin adventure. This is one for long time listeners.
Yes.
For me, it's more specific than that. It's people who've never done the job try to tell me how the job works.
You get a right rage in your arse when that happens.
I get really annoyed about that because you get people saying, "Oh, well, do you not think that you should have done this?" Because in reality, people will read this and people read. I've been doing this for a couple of weeks at least now. Like I know what I'm doing. Just don't worry about it.
But it's any space that have got a lot of men on the internet that you get that sort of kind of unsolicited advice, isn't it? I remember there was this. I've got a very rare stupid car from Japan, imported at a small expense, and the speakers are always rotted by the time you get it there because it's hot weather out there, and they're always rotted, and the only way to fix them is to get this rubber seal and put it on. Anyway, this guy, he's the only man in the world who is doing instructional videos about how to fix parts of this very rare car. Now, and he's gone and he's basically showing you how to glue the rubber ring to put it on the speaker to make it sound bassy again. And 3 or 4 blokes on the internet are just in his YouTube comments going, "You got glue on the side of you got glue everywhere, mate." And I'm going, leave him alone. He's the only person who's talking about this car. I'm relying on him to be around. Men who just cannot fucking resist themselves.
Yeah.
Can't resist getting involved. Just shut up and enjoy it or just move along.
There is a kind of group of people that you always see online, regardless of the topic, who are the mindset is clearly,
Pete got so angry there, Chris. His camera said
my camera reset because it got too hot.
It's the rage building.
It's too hot.
The rage was building so much. But yeah, you always get this category of people who just go. They're annoyed that they can't do whatever it is that they're watching on the video or in the article, so they decide, I'm going to make them look bad by pretending I'm an expert on this, and that's basically where you get up.
Chris, I'd love to be listening to you right now, but if you're only listening to this, you need to check out the video version on YouTube because Pete is having quite the meltdown.
You see my nose and my ear, my big nose and ear, and my copy of Gabriel Knight's Beast Within.
Listen, what a game!
Nice.
Come on.
What a title!
Right, let's take this one home with the last question. SGF is only a week away. What game do you hope to see? Good question, Mark, and you'll find out all about that because next week we will do our SGF prediction podcast early in the week, since there'll be a span of time where all of VGC's coterie will be on a flight and thus we cannot post. So we'll do that, and then we'll announce our VGC plans. Spoilers, it's a hell of a lot of podcasts and extra shows and stuff that you can get on patreon.com/videogames Chronicle. Switch 2 next week. Well, we have things to talk about it. I'd assume so. I don't know. Don't ask me. I only work here. Until next time, say goodbye, Pete.
I'm overheating.
Say goodbye, Chris.
Goodbye, Chris.
And we'll see you next time.
Like the Terminator's thumb.
I know now why you cry.